Alrighty, it's about that time for another sports and fantasy football Q&A here on the Schleg Daddy TV channel. All right. Let's get this bad boy going. Without any further ado, Beam at the Cashman. Since Arian Foster is out, should I play DeAndre Hopkins since he'll get more plays, or should I pick up Matt Asiata so I can start a third running back? Interesting question. There's some temptation there with Asiata going up against the Bears this week. But the problem is that Asiata clearly isn't the primary ball carrier here. That's Jerick McKinnon. And you're pretty much solely, exclusively relying upon Asiata scoring goal line touchdowns. And sometimes that works out and sometimes it really doesn't. You may be better off picking up Alfred Blue if he's going to be the starter for Houston this week and rolling the dice there. T-Bar 121 asks a similar question. Looks like Arian Foster won't play Sunday. Everyone else I have is on a bye. At this point in time, maybe it's worth dropping somebody like I see Chris Johnson. He's not going to do much for you the rest of the year, and maybe you keep that spot open. Maybe, again, you pick up somebody like an Alfred Blue. Stephen Grabovic, trading A.J. Green, Rainey, and Eddie Lacy for Megatron, Stafford, and Watkins. Let me know what you think. So you get Megatron, you get Stafford, and you get Watkins. What did you have at quarterback already? Do you really need another quarterback if you already have one, especially one that produces well? I don't know how much I like you getting rid of Lacy. He hasn't exactly produced at a big level. Again, you are giving up 2 running backs and getting 0 running backs in return. You have to let me know what the rest of your roster is. Otherwise, I don't see where this trade benefits you a ton. Let's see here. I am, let's see here. You have to do the Roman numerals. IA 2012, asshole. Please make a video about Brandon. Can you please make a video about Brandon Marshall's Twitter fight? This team is more than a huge joke now. Hashtag Bears. You know what? I just might. Remember that stuff I think I referenced that, there are players on this team that are head cases, and I cited Brandon Marshall, and there are a couple of people trying to argue that point with me. Dude's trying to fucking challenge people on Twitter to a fucking fight. It's a head case. It wasn't just a head case like used to be in the past tense. He still is. I like Brandon Marshall. He's a hell of a player. He's one of the best, most consistent Bears players, but head case is a head case. It's the truth. Funk Wilder. Which of the 3 wide receivers should I start? Martavis Bryant, DeAndre Hopkins, or Randall Cobb? What do you got? Cobb going against Philadelphia. I like that matchup. Martavis Bryant going against Tennessee. I also like that matchup. I would probably lean a little bit more towards Cobb at this point because I think he's the better player out of the 3. Edsel 4. Which league gives the most ridiculous contracts, the NFL or the NBA? I really hate both because I hate how in the NFL it's all about guaranteed money and most of these players never see the life of the contract. It's just such a stupid setup. Sign a guy to a 7-year deal, but technically only 3 of them are really functionally guaranteed. It's just dumb. The NBA is just dumb, too. Not so much in that every dollar of the contract is guaranteed. That I don't have an issue with. That I kind of like. It's the fact that the wrong players are getting the wrong amounts. When one of your top 25 paid players in the league is somebody like Tyson Chandler, there's a problem with your league. To me, your best players should get paid the most money, and it's so often the case in the NBA that just simply is not the case. So I think at the end of the day, the NBA has a bigger joke of a salary structure and is more ridiculous with the contracts because you'll see this shit all the time. Guys like Gordon Hayward getting $80 million. It's just ridiculous. Why would you give that guy that much money? That's stupid. Let's see here. Gold dust in my bed. Is Derrick Rose scamming the Chicago Bulls? I was watching that Wizards game, or not the Wizards game, excuse me. I was watching the game against the Raptors last night, and, I thought it was very curious how he was just pulled out of the game and wasn't walking with a limp. He turned an ankle, but they were talking about it as a hamstring, and it was weird. And that's going to be the biggest obstacle to the Bulls potentially winning a championship, which they could very well win this year, and I'm excited to see if they can do so. Is Derrick Rose going to be that man when they really need him to be that man? because he's the one player that has that ability to be the man. And no offense to a Gasol or a Butler or Taj Gibson, Joakim Noah, really nice players, they don't have that capability of being the man. The only one that has that capability of being the man is Derrick Rose. And if he can't be the man, the Bulls will get bounced in the second round of the playoffs and be a disappointing team. I don't think he's scamming them, but some of the stuff he said recently, some of his mannerisms, has me concerned about him long term. It just does. John Madden fan. If you could take 3 players from around the league and automatically insert them into the Bears lineup, who would they be? J.J. Watt. Because it doesn't matter the scheme, the guy's a fucking beast. And the fact that he is still very young means his best years are still, in theory, ahead of him. And that's incredibly scary. In terms of other young players, because like I said, if I'm going to put 3 Bears players into the Bears lineup, I want to be young guys that could be there for a long period of time. In terms of young quarterbacks, I probably still got to go with Andrew Luck. I think of all the young quarterbacks, like the guys under 27 or so, I think Luck's the guy that I got to roll with. So I want that quarterback. I want that marquee defensive player. And then in terms of that third player, who would I really, really have to have or want? I'd want somebody that could help out my quarterback. I'd probably go with maybe like Julio Jones. Yeah, maybe. Something like that. A.J. Green, you get the idea. Somebody to help out my young quarterback. So those would probably be the 3. Let's see here. Ritalin V1. Should I start Kansas City or Denver on defense this week? What's Denver got? St. Louis. Kansas City's got Seattle. I don't think you can feel bad about either one of them. I'd probably go with Denver's defense if you have the ability to pick them up, though. I like their matchup a little bit better. And then Matt Ryan or pick up Sanchez. You got Matt Ryan going against Carolina or Sanchez going against Green Bay. Probably roll with Ryan. UF Gator Chomp 93. What were your thoughts on Texans backup quarterback Tom Savage in college at Pittsburgh, and do you see him ever becoming a starter in the NFL? I thought Savage had really good arm talent, and he was a guy that I thought was actually potentially going to go higher in the draft that he did. One thing that hurt him was the fact that he was already 25 years old, so he was a bit of an aged prospect, and aged prospects tend to drop unless their names are Brandon Whedon and the Cleveland Browns are drafting. I thought he had some of the best arm talent in the 14 draft. Will he ever become a starter in the NFL? I don't know. Because if you wait 2 or 3 years for him to start, he's already going to be like 28 or so, and by that time a team's probably going to want to move on and draft somebody else to be the starter. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's an opportunity there for him to start, especially depending upon what Mallett does or doesn't do during his time as a starter for the Texans now. But I liked him. I liked his arm talent. I liked his size. I thought he had just enough ability to extend plays occasionally in the pocket with his feet, but he wasn't going to be able to make a living doing that. But I saw him make some big-time throws, so it wasn't somebody that, I had a lot of bad things to say about. Matt Meffe 2, which is a better football rivalry right now? Jets, Patriots, Giants, Cowboys, or Steelers, Ravens? Oh, I think it's easily Steelers, Ravens. Jets, Patriots, I don't think so. In terms of Giants, Cowboys, the mainstream sports media will try and convince you of that, but no, I think Steelers, Ravens. Excuse me. Shablagoosh, question, if you would, Watkins or Hilton for the flex? Hilton. You got Hilton going up against the Patriots, right? Then you got Watkins. Yeah, I guess I'd still roll with Hilton. Kevin McAllister, 6. Does it really matter who the Bears hire as GM coach with Ted Phillips manning the oars? Talk about giving a skunk a bath. Oh, it's a valid point. You bring up a very valid point. And when I talk about it, even though I don't really reference him or mention his name, maybe I need to emphasize that more. You can't really change the ownership unless somebody all of a sudden decides they want to sell the team within the McCaskey family, and they do that. So I would rather focus on everybody that you can control. And it's Ted Phillips that brought in Jerry Angelo. It's Ted Phillips that got the crappy stadium deal done with Soldier Field. It's Ted Phillips that brought in Phil Emery, who brought in Mark Trestman, who brought in Mel Tucker, and da-da-da-da-da. Oh, yeah, it doesn't really matter, especially if Ted Phillips is going to be involved in this decision-making process. When I say the Bears need to clean house, that means they need to clean house everywhere they possibly can, and that goes up to Ted Phillips' office, period. Mark Whalen, 67. Who do I start at wide receiver 3? Odell Beckham Jr., DeAndre Hopkins, or Michael Floyd? I'd probably go with Odell Beckham Jr. And the other question you have is, who should I start as my flex this week? Ben Tate, Frank Gore, Dwayne Allen, or Lamar Miller? Oh, shit. This was already a question that I hope he didn't put Lamar Miller in, even though I don't think he did. I don't think he really did much. I guess out of those three, you maybe got to go with Gore. Maybe. Yeah, that's about the best I could think of. Duke THS. Do the refs have a bias against the Bills, or am I just unconsciously looking for an excuse? I think you're unconsciously looking for an excuse. This organization hasn't made the playoffs since 1999 for a reason. Now, the league might have just a little bit of a bias against them since they're a smaller market team. They might not like them as much, might not prefer them as much as other teams, especially even teams that have the New York name in them, such as the Giants and the Jets. But I don't think the refs have a bias against them. I just don't really see where you have a lot of pedigree to be able to say that's the case. Barking Frog, what are your thoughts on the Lions-Cards game? Do you think the Lions are a legit title contender this year? I don't think they're a legit title contender this year. I think they are, at this point in time, a legit threat to get a first-round bye. Maybe even get the #1 overall seed and get home field advantage throughout. They're a threat for that. Lions-Cards game, very interesting. Want to see how the Cardinals will do, knowing that Stanton's going to be their guy for the rest of the year. I want to see how the Lions can do. I believe that game is in Arizona. This is a chance to play a marquee opponent on the road, a game they can win. They need to win. It'll be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to that game. It's definitely one of the games of the week. James P. Furman, bigger bust, Ryan Leaf or Jamarcus Russell. Russell was the #1 overall pick in a draft that featured guys like Calvin Johnson, Adrian Peterson, Joe Thomas, Patrick Willis, Marshawn Lynch. That is by far the bigger bust. Ryan Leaf, if he was taken ahead of Peyton Manning, then that would be the biggest bust of all time, but he is not. Jamarcus Russell is. Ryan Leaf was the #2 overall pick. Jamarcus Russell was the #1 overall pick. It's a bigger bust. Let's see here. UF Gator Chomp's got a couple more. Yeah. If Eli Manning finishes the year with one of his best seasons ever, will you eat crow and admit you were wrong about his decline? #1, no. Because I don't think I was that wrong about his decline. I think maybe the decline wasn't as big as I anticipated. But 2, what the fuck does it really matter? Are you going to get some type of moral victory out of it? Your team's shit. Just like my Bears. You're not making the fucking playoffs. What the fuck does it matter? Come on, Dylan. Come on, man. And do you think any NFL team would be willing to trade for Cutler and take some of that contract to pay? Even the Bears, man. It doesn't even matter what the salary cap ramifications are. You got to get fucking out from under that contract and just let it go. If it buries you in the cap the next year or two, you're still better off for it as an organization long term. You know, you might be able to get somebody to take on Cutler. You know, somebody else might be fooled. Somebody like Houston. It's possible. I pray. If you get somebody to take on some of that contract, even better. But if you don't, fuck it. It doesn't matter. Get rid of them. Thanks, guys, for submitting your questions. I appreciate it. Now I'll see what else I can record for this weekend. And, you know, thanks for watching. Bye.